Did you see that?
See what?
What was that?
It was a ghost.
I saw a floating piece of wood.
What?
Yeah, a ghost. Ooh, spooky.
Bro, this new set's haunted.
Yeah.
Okay.
The ghost of Matt is,
is with us.
the ghost of Matt is with us. He's now that he's here, we're gonna run things different on Psycosmos.
That's right.
Today, we're going to talk about astrology.
Yes, astrology. Astrology? What's that? You mean like reading the future by looking at the stars? No. Astrology, traditional astrology, that is now astronomy, was tracking the different celestial bodies, as they're called. So the stars, the planets across the sky. But it was more mathematic and scientific. And we've talked a little bit about it before, but we just want to do another video where we talk a little bit about kind of what each planet does in traditional astrology, what it represents, and then maybe we could get into a little bit about where certain planets are and how we think it affects our lives. We're not saying that any planet makes people do things or makes you a certain way, so you like so-and-so thing or you have this character trait because this planet is there. It's more like a reflection.
Yeah, it kind of influences your energy in a way.
Yeah, and everybody's got their own different energy in here, and we just respond to all the different energies up there in different ways.
Yeah,
it's a very nice way of thinking about it. So to start, one that's there's two planets in astrology that aren't actual planets, but they're called planets when you're talking about it.
Oh, can I guess?
Yes.
Is it the sun?
Yes.
And the moon?
And the moon?
Yes.
Oh my God, we're geniuses.
And those are two of the most important. The
most prominent in our sky. They take up the most space.
That's right. And the sun is the most consistent because though he goes down and dies every day, he's always there. He doesn't wax or wane like the moon. So he's going hard, hot and heavy, always just going to town.
That's what she said.
So the sun represents the masculine principle, if you will. It's all about it's electric energy. It's disruptive. It's warm and it provides life, but it can also be harsh and it also has to die every night. So take the good with the bad. And it represents how you consciously think of yourself, like your ego, how you think of Dan when you go out there into the world.
And he rises every morning.
That's right, every morning he rises.
I mean, I think you can feel it day to day because like on days where it's like a bright, sunny, nice day, your mood is uplifted and you're just out there and you just feel good naturally. And then on days when it's rainy, everyone's just kind of all gloomy and just kind of just depressed and whatnot because the sun's not there.
Exactly, and science would tell you that it's I think it's vitamin D you get from the sun. I think it's that one, right? And they'll tell you that of course it's just because of that. Like you actually need something to survive a little bit. You're actually part plant, turns out. And we're not saying that that's not true. It's just I don't like how a lot of times people have that mindset. Like there's a scientific answer, and it's not even just like they don't like the idea that
there's a multitude of other factors that are involved when we get that energy from the sun. It'll make you feel emotionally better, psychologically. You'll actually feel that in your heart, maybe even.
Oh yeah.
In a more, I guess, soulful or metaphysical type of way.
Absolutely. You can't just chalk it up to science purely.
Yeah.
Definitely part. And then you got the moon. The moon is the other half of that. It's like your subconscious. It's your inner self. It's your emotional self.
It's your right brain.
Yes. How you feel fulfilled emotionally. Like what does that? And also a little bit has to do with love. It's not just Venus that has to do with love. It's Venus, the moon, and weirdly enough Mars a little bit. Mars also has to do with being active and passionate and your sexuality.
There's different types of love. There's the motherly, caring type love of the moon, and then there's the maybe the more structured and orderly type love from the sun. That also includes that like you said, that passionate type of love.
Yeah. And then so then you got Mercury, the messenger. He's the closest one to the sun.
Mercury.
Check out our Smite videos. Mercury moves the fastest, and his whole thing is he's about communication and the mind and how you exercise powers of communication and learning He's also all about messengers. So he gives messages from the divine, from the sun. That's why he is the closest one to the sun. That's why he goes around the fastest. So he's always trying to help us out.
That's crazy. I just thought of that as you brought it up now, and it would make sense that he's the messenger god of. He's the fastest.
And he's right.
God
Exactly.
speed.
Right there. Exactly.
Sonic.
And actually, fun fact. I think it's starting right around now. Mercury's in retrograde.
Oh.
So if anybody's having any weird energies where you kind of just feel like you're just kind of
Sluggish,
weird,
maybe?
a little sluggish, kind of weird to communicate, kind of like stiff and like, yeah, you're just kind of having trouble getting your ideas out there, might have a little bit to do with that. I'm definitely feeling it because, fun fact, my Mercury is in Pisces, which is its detriment and its fall. So it's literally the worst place it could be. But what are you gonna do? I like to think that my moon Gemini helps counteract that a little bit, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to talk about anything. So then you got Venus. Pretty much everybody knows Venus, love planet. It's also about what you find beautiful, what you find harmonious, and appreciating beauty and harmony.
I find that interesting because isn't Venus like also a very like chaotic planet? Doesn't it have like I mean
it has a very weird
intense atmosphere or something like that?
I don't know a lot. I don't know really anything about Venus's atmosphere. The only thing I know about it is one, to the chaos thing. I think it's the only planet. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure it's the only planet that it revolves the opposite direction of all the other planets.
Oh,
Yep.
really?
So
that's pretty cool.
So head goddess of love. She does what she pleases. None of the other planets stop her. Okay. There's also this really cool pattern that it makes. It's called the pentagram of Venus, or the star of Venus, where if you look at its orbit from Earth-centric point of view, and you put the Earth in the center, it has these nodes where it gets closest to the Earth, and it is like a little like loop, and then it goes back out. And if you plan out those points, it makes literally a 5-point star, the pentagram.
Really?
Yep. Sacred geometry everywhere. It's amazing.
That's
It's absolutely
remarkable.
Beautiful.
That's remarkable. I think even Venus too is one of the more dominant planets you see in the night sky. Oftentimes,
It's one of the brightest.
It's one of the brightest, and she's always hanging around like right near the moon.
Yep. That's why they call her. That's why she's associated with stuff with the moon, like motherhood, love, that sort of stuff. And that's also why she has the name the Dawnbringer, or Lucifer, because I think it's near, and this is why she's got two different aspects. So sometimes she's good, and it's not just like her like Venus, it's whatever she represents. Her star is good because it shows in the morning star, the Dawnbringer.
Oh,
She's very bright, right there in the twilight of dawn. That one's good, but you also see her when the sun is setting. That's like the bad one. That's the Lucifer. I think there's a phenomenon where it looks as though Venus falls into the sun. That's the falling angel.
The fallen angel, though. That's where they get that phrase.
That's their story.
Wow.
I
did not know that.
Because it's not just like Lucifer, the fallen angel. There's different, there's different stories where he represents something different, but it's always that sort of story. It's the prideful entity that's like a servant of God that gets cast down. But then Satan is actually, it's this all complicated thing where Satan is like this. It comes from a Hebrew word, which is like Satan or something like that. I'm sorry if I'm messing it up, but it means loosely accuser, or someone who accuses. And he's associated with, at least as far as I can figure out, this archangel named Samael, whose name literally means either something like wrath of God or poison of God.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, he's pretty intense. He's not really evil. He just kind of does like the dark-handed work like of God, like punishing the wicked and things like that.
Yeah.
So in the book of Job, like that's a story like a lot of people have heard. The guy who messes with Job and everything, that's referred to as Satan. I think that's at least in my view, and some others, that's Samael, this angel who's the accuser. But then Satan became this other embodiment of just like the devil, as people think of him. So it's just like the super evil, and then that became Lucifer, the angel that he cast out of heaven.
Okay, that's interesting. So the not only is the fallen angel representative of Lucifer, like you said, but it's also has some Satan energy to it, or it's related as it comes in the story.
Yes.
Okay. I guess that would bring us to maybe Saturn.
So yeah, and then Saturn is associated with Satan because he's frequently referred to as the king of the material world, the king of this world, the physical world, because he's the I think we referenced this in another video, Matt, that he's the Lord of the Rings. It's actually part of the part where he got Sauron, the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Because not only does he obviously have the big ass rings,
but he circles all the other rings.
Yes, and he's takes the longest because he's the king. He's King Saturn. He does what he pleases. He takes his time. It's like, no, I'll make my orbit when I feel like making my orbit. Okay.
It's interesting you bring up the whole king of the material world as Saturn, because I was just reading Nietzsche yesterday, and I was wrapping up one of his discussions on something having to do with the material world, and I'm going to try and recall it right now, and I'll have to double check and make sure it's accurate. But it was basically, it had to do with, I'm going to totally butcher this, but I'm going to try, with naming things. Like Nietzsche brings up the idea of like naming things and how you can't really name something without having the counterpart to that to exist in the first place.
Yes.
And he brought up, or maybe even heard it from you recently, or the idea of nothing. The only reason we can even think of nothing as a thing is because something else has to exist.
There's got to be a something.
There's got to be a something if there is a nothing. So I found that interesting in regards to the material world. I'm not sure how he brought that in. I'll have to go double check, but it has to do with, I guess, how we feel about the materials around us, and how also in our minds we are so separate from like our physical bodies in a sense. And a lot of times people think that, oh no, like you are this person when you look in the mirror, but it's like,
just a sack of meat.
Yeah, and it's like, no, like you go way deeper than that. Like there's so much more to you than is just on this physical plane. Yeah, and I mean that more in a sense of like how you think of it, not just as, I'm not saying, oh, like, there's a soul and this and that. Maybe there is. Maybe I believe in that. Maybe I don't know. But what I'm saying is that it goes beyond what we can see, taste, feel, and touch, and all that.
Yeah, very nice.
Thank you.
So let us know what your thoughts and feelings and everything about astrology. Like maybe like if you want to let us know your sign or anything cool like that, and anything you'd like to see more of or hear more about, this, that, anything.
Yeah. And make sure you guys check out our Instagram. We're still doing our giveaway. At 5,000 subs, we're giving away 2 Nintendo Switches.
What?
Not 1, 2.
2.
I'm not gonna get mine this time.
Sorry, Rich.